Ruto, wewe umezoea kutisha watu, kushika watu. Ati wewe unataka kushika Rigathi Gachagua, itawezekana?
Unajua kuna watu wanatutisha, wanafikiria they are now above the law. Wanafikiria hawatashikwa, wanafikiria hawatafungwa.
Karibuni tena watazamaji wangu wa BM Daily Politics. Aliyekuwa naibu wa rais Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua sasa hivi yupo taabani, na muda wowote kuanzia sasa hivi serikali ya William Samoei Ruto huenda ikachukua hatua ya kumkamata na kumshtaki kwa yale matamshi ambayo aliyazungumza kuhusiana na uchaguzi wa urais wa mwaka wa 2027. Rigathi Gachagua amekuwa akikashifu serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Rigathi Gachagua amekuwa akipinga utawala wa William Samoei Ruto. Rigathi Gachagua amekuwa akijiandaa kukabiliana na William Samoei Ruto kwenye uchaguzi wa urais wa mwaka wa 2027. Na akiwa kwenye mahojiano na runinga ya Obina, alisema ya kwamba endapo wale makomishna wa IEBC hawatofanya uchaguzi ambao utakuwa wa haki na usawa, basi nchi ya Kenya huenda ikatumbukia tena kwenye fujo na vita kama vile ambavyo ilishuhudiwa pale mwaka wa 2007. Na sasa wabunge, watazamaji wangu, hapo jana karibia siku nzima ambayo walikuwa pale kwenye bunge, walikuwa wanazungumzia kuhusiana na Rigathi Gachagua na ni kwa nini hataki kukamatwa, kwa sababu yale matamshi ambayo aliyazungumza ni matamshi ambayo yalionekana ni ya uchochezi na huenda yakaleta ghasia kwenye uchaguzi wa urais wa mwaka wa 2027. Rigathi Gachagua amekuwa akikwepa mara kadhaa kutokamatwa, amekuwa akikashifu serikali ya Kenya Kwanza akisema kwamba ndio imekuwa ikimwandama, ikimvamia. Na sasa endapo jambo lolote litamtokea yeye Rigathi Gachagua, wakulaumiwa ni serikali ya William Samoei Ruto. Kabla ziendelea zaidi watazamaji wangu, nataka niwapatie fursa muweze kusikiza ujumbe kutoka kwa wabunge ambao wanaishinikiza na kuitaka serikali ya Kenya Kwanza imchukulie hatua za kisheria huyu Rigathi Gachagua na kumkamata, kumpeleka mahakamani aweze kushtakiwa kwa hayo matamshi ambayo aliyazungumza kuhusiana na uchaguzi wa urais wa mwaka wa 2027. Lakini watazamaji wangu, kabla sijawekea huu ujumbe, ningependa kukuomba wewe mtazamaji, kama ndio mara yako ya kwanza kufika hapa BM Daily Politics, uweze kusubscribe na pia uweze kulike, kushare na comment, ndiposa ujumbe ama hizo habari zetu ziweze kuwafikia ama kuwa recommended kwa watazamaji wengi zaidi.
I think as I listen to the discussions from my colleagues, we are discussing as if it's just bare facts. What we are discussing is crimes that have been committed by the former deputy president. His crime are offenses that are set out in the National Cohesion and Integration Commission Act. And we even have past history where people have made utterances that were assumed to have been wrong and they were not even guilty, yet they were arrested. So my issue here is, I'm also calling upon the chairperson of NCIC, Reverend Kobia. Reverend Kobia must act and not allow people to get over it. Because if we remember, prior to the 2022 elections, I remember 300 police officers were sent to Uasin Gishu County to arrest Honorable Oscar Sudi for making remarks that were not even hitting to the threshold of the National Commission and Integration Act. It was the same Reverend Kobia. We expect him to act. Similarly, we remember that Honorable Linturi again made some remarks and he was picked at night. Yes, he mentioned that word in Uasin Gishu and he was picked swiftly by the by the police and ferried to Nairobi at night for arrest. The same thing happened to Oscar Sudi. Why is it that the former deputy president has not been arrested? In fact, this house must hold the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to account, because they cannot have double standards when it comes to deal with people. You need to read the National Cohesion and Integration Act. And therefore, that is what we must say. And we, again, speaking as Member of Parliament for Uasin Gishu County, which bore the brunt of the post-election violence, we cannot allow anyone to mention that again. We made peace. The pastors and the old men had a meeting in Karusoi. That matter was settled, and we promised ourselves that we shall never mention it again. So on behalf of the people of Uasin Gishu County, we are very offended by the remarks of the former deputy president. Because in fact, statements have been issued by members of Uasin Gishu County where they said, we are not going to allow you to take us there. So such a person is not a leader, he's a criminal, and we should be discussing how we should have him arrested and charged for those crimes, contrary to the NCIC Act. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Anytime I listen to the former deputy president speak, I can't help but wish that there was another way to have him brought back to this house to be impeached again, the second time or even that time, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, I do not know what one single individual, the kind of venom one single individual holds in his mind, Honorable Speaker. In 2007, that is being referred to by the Honorable Gachagua, Honorable Speaker, I was a university student, I was in the university, Honorable Speaker. But at the time that the skirmishes were happening, Honorable Speaker, I was in Molo as a rider, as a border rider, Honorable Speaker. And I remember, Honorable Speaker, being accosted by about 5 people, Honorable Speaker, who wanted me to speak in a certain language, Honorable Speaker, that I didn't understand. They took away my motorbike and I had to run, Honorable Speaker, for my life. I found myself, Honorable Speaker, in a petrol tanker that I didn't know then where it was going, only to find myself, Honorable Speaker, in Lunga Road, industrial area, Honorable Speaker. How can a person describe that, Honorable Speaker, as a Christmas party, Honorable Speaker? How can a person, and along the way, Honorable Speaker, as we were coming, as we were driving all the way from Molo, El Bago, Honorable Speaker, to the entire route, Honorable Speaker, we could see bodies of people splashed across, spread all over, Honorable Speaker. When a person stands, Honorable Speaker, and speaks in such kind of a language and says that, 2027, if this and this does not happen, and anytime the guy speaks, Honorable Speaker, his description is only about him. It's issues, it's about him. Honorable Speaker, I think it's about time that we advise him to see a psychiatrist, Honorable Speaker. He needs to see a doctor. He needs to do his mental check, Honorable Speaker. And I think doctors here should refer some very serious psychiatrists, Honorable Speaker, to see to him, Honorable Speaker. Because it's quite unfortunate that anything you speak is about your area. Anything you speak is about your village. Honorable Speaker, that is a disease I refer to villagitis. That when you wake up, the only place you'll have is one village. When you speak about one area. When you wake up, you speak, even the meetings you hold is from one village, Honorable Speaker. How selfish can an individual be? That any person that does not subscribe to your line of thought is an enemy. Your particular line of thought, be it artists who are working hard for themselves, be it politicians who are, engaged in political associations across, those are your enemies. How selfish can one individual be? From your family, from your home, you are selfish. Where you take over everything that belongs to the late brother's family, Honorable Speaker, because taking advantage of the position that you had. Now, in the political scene, you are extremely selfish. That if you see artists visiting a deputy president, a sitting deputy president, a serving deputy president, Honorable Speaker, you take offense and go out there, complain about them and rant about them. Honorable Speaker, it's about time we call out the NCIC, we call out the National Police Service, we call out the IG for selectively, for being selective on matters law, Honorable Speaker. Because it's about time Wamunyoro be arrested. The Honorable Gachagua should be behind bars for the statements that he made. If those statements, Honorable Speaker, were made in the previous regime, perhaps somebody would be running up and down, Honorable Speaker, with a battalion of lawyers. I think we are too tolerant. I believe even the independent bodies in the Constitution are becoming too tolerant, and they are going to affect this country. I mean, that you are being summoned by a body, a constitutional body, then you refer them through a lawyer, then and tell them, I can't attend, you are this and this. And then when you get arrested, you say it's political persecution. Regarding Gachagua, he should be a state guest, Honorable Speaker, latest this weekend. That is a state guest. He should be charged. He should be charged for incitement. He should be charged for...
Watazamaji, Rigathi Gachagua anazidi kuwa kikwazo na tishio kwa serikali ya William Samoei Ruto tunapokaribia kwenye uchaguzi wa urais wa mwaka wa 2027. Sasa hivi serikali ya Kenya Kwanza inajaribu kutafuta mbinu yoyote ambayo wataitumia ili kumdhibiti huyu Rigathi Gachagua. Kwa mfano, watazamaji wangu, Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa ameamua kulaunch ile political party ya DCP ambayo aliweza kuizindua hivi majuzi. Alikuwa amepanga kuizindua kule kwenye kiwanja cha Kasarani jijini Nairobi. Lakini serikali ya William Samoei Ruto imepinga huo uamuzi wake na kumkataza ile venue. Na kwa hivyo Rigathi Gachagua amelazimika kuahirisha kulaunch ile political party yake mpaka atafute eneo ambalo litakuwa ni salama na eneo ambalo serikali itakuwa imemuidhinisha. Watazamaji, nitakomea hapo, lakini msiende mbali kwa sababu niko na mengi zaidi ambayo nitakuwa naendelea kuwafahamisha siku ya leo. Na kabla sijatamatisha watazamaji wangu, ningependa kukukumbusha wewe mtazamaji, kama ndio mara yako ya kwanza kufika hapa BM Daily Politics, na kuomba uweze kusubscribe na pia uweze kulike, kushare na comment, ndipo ujumbe ama habari zetu ziweze kuwafikia watazamaji wengi zaidi.